The oppressed are allowed once every few years to decide which particular representatives of the oppressing class are to represent and repress them. If we have chosen the position in life in which we can most of all work for mankind, no burdens can bow us down, because they are sacrifices for the benefit of all. Then we shall experience no petty, limited, selfish joy, but our happiness will belong to millions, our deeds will live on quietly but perpetually at work, and over our ashes will be shed the hot tears of noble people. The last capitalist we hang shall be the one who sold us the rope. History calls those men the greatest who have ennobled themselves by working for the common good. Experience acclaims as happiest the man who has made the greatest number of people happy. Greek philosophy seems to have met with something with which a good tragedy is not supposed to meet, namely, a dull ending. Atheism reminds one of children, assuring everyone who is ready to listen to them that they are not afraid of the bogey man. The bureaucracy is a circle from which no one can escape. Its hierarchy is a hierarchy of knowledge. This is a kind of mutual reconciliation society. Actual extremes cannot be mediated with each other precisely because they are actual extremes. But neither are they in need of mediation, because they are opposed in essence. All forms of the state have democracy for their truth, and for that reason are false to the extent that they are not democracy. The state is based on this contradiction. It is based on the contradiction between public and private life, between universal and particular interests. For this reason, the state must confine itself to formal, negative activities. The only intelligible language in which we converse with one another consists of our objects and their relation to each other. We would not understand a human language and it would remain without effect. By one side it would be recognized and felt as being a request, an entreaty, and therefore a humiliation. Political economy regards the proletarian, like a horse, he must receive enough to enable him to work. It does not consider him, during the time when he is not working, as a human being. It leaves this to criminal law, doctors, religion, statistical tables, politics, and the beetle. Natural science will in time incorporate into itself the science of man, just as the science of man will incorporate into itself natural science. There will be one science. In general, it is always empirical businessmen we are talking about when we refer to political economists, who represent their scientific creed and form of existence. A few days in my old man's factory have sufficed to bring me face to face with this beastliness which I had rather overlooked. It is impossible to carry on communist propaganda on a large scale and at the same time engage in huckstering and industry. Communism is for us not a state of affairs which is to be established, an ideal to which reality will have to adjust itself. We call communism the real movement which abolishes the present state of things. The conditions of this movement result from the premises now in existence. The question whether objective truth can be attributed to human thinking is not a question of theory but is a practical question. The philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point is to change it. The hand mill gives you society with the feudal lord, the steam mill society with the industrial capitalist. Machines were, it may be said, the weapon employed by the capitalist to quell the revolt of specialized labor. A nation cannot become free and at the same time continue to oppress other nations. The liberation of Germany cannot therefore take place without the liberation of Poland from German oppression. In place of the old bourgeois society with its classes and class antagonisms, we shall have an association in which the free development of each is the condition for the free development of all. Hegel remarks somewhere that all great world historic facts and personages appear, so to speak, twice. He forgot to add the first time as tragedy, the second time as farce. The great mass of the French nation is formed by the simple addition of homologous magnitudes, much as potatoes in a sack form a sack of potatoes. The Afghans are a brave, hardy and independent race. They follow pastoral or agricultural occupations only. With them wars and excitement and relief from the monotonous occupation of industrial pursuits. In all forms of society there is one specific kind of production which predominates over the rest, a general illumination which bathes all the other colors and modifies their particularity. Society does not consist of individuals but expresses the sum of interrelations, the relations within which these individuals stand. The separation of public works from the state and their migration into the domain of the works undertaken by capital itself indicates the degree to which the real community has constituted itself in the form of capital. The mode of production of material life conditions the social, political, and intellectual life process in general. It is not the consciousness of men that determines their being, but on the contrary, their social being that determines their consciousness.